Hi everybody, and welcome to another Clear Presentation Design video blog post. Today I'm going to talk to you about why using tables to display your data can be a poor option, and why in many cases line charts do the job in a much clearer and more memorable manner. I have recently been rereading the book The Display of Quantitative Information by Edward Tufte. This book really is pretty fantastic and should be read at least once by anyone who deals with data on any sort of a regular basis. In the first chapter, he explains that when data is displayed, it is important that it tells a coherent story. From what we see on a day-to-day basis, I think most people feel it okay to merely make the data visible, and this clearly needs to change. He also states that one of the most important purposes of displaying data in the very first place is to allow the viewer to compare various data points. Tables are quite bad at this, as we will see later on. Tufte then introduces us to a man by the name of William Playfair, a man who can only be described as the granddaddy of data visualization. Way back in the early 1800s, he was pioneering new, previously unheard of ways of displaying data, in graphs like this. This is one of the first examples of a time series display showing multiple variables, and is quite a triumph, given that it was handmade and engraved into copper. He had some rather wise and eloquent words on the topic of data tables. He said, "A man who has carefully investigated a printed table finds, when done, that he has only a very faint and partial idea of what he has read, and that like a figure imprinted on sand, it is soon totally erased and defaced." Very nicely put. So, is he correct? Let's take a look at an example. Let's imagine you purchase large quantities of wheat, rice, and oats, and you are trying to explain to your investors what has happened to the price of these commodities over the last year. In your presentation, you put up this beauty onto the screen. I must add that the colour scheme of this table was one suggested by PowerPoint, and I thought it would leave it unaltered to add a touch of light comedy to proceedings. It takes quite a while to look through all the numbers and figure out what has happened over the last year, and even when you do get a good look, the message is not immediately obvious. Contrast this to the next slide, where the exact same 36 numbers are plotted on a line chart. Here, the story is instantly obvious, and even within a few seconds perusal, we can see what has happened to the prices over the past year. Wheat has gone down, rice up, and oats have stayed more or less the same. Simple. If you wanted a little more accuracy in terms of price, you could even include a start and finish price for each product. But this wouldn't be strictly necessary. So, in summary, when displaying data, it is important to ensure that the chosen method tells a coherent story and is one that allows for comparison between data points. As we have seen and heard, tables often don't achieve this, especially in situations where the viewer does not have ample time to look over the table in question. Thanks for watching this video blog post, and I hope to speak to you again soon.